What happened to the satchel of money in No Country for Old Men? Let's explore that. What happened to the satchel of money in the 2007 film No Country for Old Men? No Country for Old Men is a cat-and-mouse thriller about a regular Texan man, Llewelyn Moss, who comes across a satchel of over $2 million. He goes home and seems to be in the clear of being found out by the bad guys, but having a moral conscience, he returns at night to bring a gallon of water to the dying man who was begging him for it. His wife, Carla Jean, asks him where he's going. He says, "I'm fixin' to do something dumber in hell, but I'm going anyways." He returns with the water, but sees that the dying man is now dead, shot to death. He looks up on a hill where he parked his truck and sees the men who returned for the money and the drugs. They see him and chase him, fire bullets at him, but Llewelyn escapes. When the film's main antagonist, Anton Chigurh, arrives on the scene and takes the inspection plate off the truck, he pursues Llewelyn Moss relentlessly, getting shot in the leg and still pursuing the money. He kills the two men in suits and bolo ties, the Mexicans at one of the motels, and even the man in the office for giving the Mexicans a receiver to track the satchel. He is so confident that he tells fellow hitman Carson Wells that he knows where the money will end up. It will be brought to me and placed at my feet. In the film, it's implied that Chigurh gets the satchel of money when Sheriff Bell goes to the motel where Llewelyn was shot and sees the vent cover on the floor. We see Llewelyn hiding the money in an air duct earlier in the film at another motel, so it's safe to assume this is where he put the satchel at the motel he was shot at. Chigurh goes to the motel despite the crime scene tape across the door frame, goes in and retrieves it. Not exactly brought to him and placed at his feet, but still somewhat easy. But the viewer is still left with the question, what did Chigurh do with the satchel of money? Did he keep it for himself or give it to someone else? The answer is in the novel. In the novel, Chigurh dons a suit and tie and goes to a place with a corporate air to it. He tells the receptionist his name and says a particular person will be delighted to see him. Chigurh goes to this man's office and gives him the satchel of money and explains that some of it was lost and some of it went to cover his expenses. Here's an excerpt from the novel. "Some of it is missing, about $100,000. Part of that was stolen and part of it went to cover my expenses. I've been at some pains to recover your property, so I'd prefer not to be addressed as some sort of bearer of bad news here. There's $2.3 million in that case. I'm sorry I couldn't recover it all, but there you are." The man seems baffled that Chigurh brought the money to him and tells Chigurh he could have just kept the money for himself, but Chigurh explains that he wanted to establish himself as an expert in what he does and have a business relationship with the man. He adds that oversized profits often make others overestimate their abilities. This brings me to something that's in the film and not in the novel. After Chigurh kills the man in the high-rise building, the Coens put in some dialogue with an accountant and Chigurh. The accountant tries to explain that the man thought more people looking for the money would be better, but Chigurh tells him that's foolish. You go with the one right tool. The right tool is Chigurh. We also see somewhat of a more human side to Chigurh in the novel. He makes small talk with the man he returned the money to. He tells him his office is nice and low-key. He even asks him about a painting on the wall. And like the film, Chigurh is later T-boned by a vehicle that ran a red light. He gets out of the vehicle, puts his arm in a sling from a boy's shirt, and walks off to who knows where. The novel has some dialogue with Sheriff Bell and the two boys on the bicycles that helped Chigurh, and perhaps that's something to explore in another video. Perhaps No Country for Old Men is my favorite film. Not only is it my favorite film, it's also my favorite novel. If you are enjoying this content, please consider subscribing, because that will motivate me to make more content like this. My name is Justin Tobin, and thank you for watching.